Hello everyone, Pure Station here. Welcome back to a brand new deck profile. This is my 8-0 Memento K9 deck profile. Um, Took it to locals on Saturday, which is not the same day that the sneak peek was on, which it would have been on today, which is Sunday. But Saturday was just regular locals. We had 41 people there. So we went into 5 rounds, and then we cut the top cut, which was the top 8. So we had 3 extra rounds there, which adds up to 8 rounds. We're completely undefeated with it. There was really not much to say about it. Um, it but I'll show you some things that are different between mine and how I want the list to be played going forward. But yeah, the deck performed absolutely swimmingly, and I had no issues. So I'm gonna go over the main first, extra, then side. Um, Then I'm going to go through it really quickly, so make sure you're paying attention to the ratios. If you're not, you can fast forward, go back. I do everything as a premiere for my original videos, so you may have to wait until like whatever the time is. I try to keep them under an hour when I do combos with them. So like I said, I'm gonna do it fast. That way, we can kind of get through the preview. If you have to come back to the channel, make sure you do that. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. We will not just be doing this, I will say, because I did invest into Pokemon today. So, we're probably going to transform the channel and start playing other card games, mainly Pokemon. So, um, we'll be doing that on top of this. And again, we may just drop Yu-Gi-Oh altogether. We don't know. It just depends on, how well I do in Pokemon, how I feel about it. But without further ado, let's go and get the deck profile, and I'll give you some jazz. So again, we're gonna start with the main. 3 Angewitch, 3 Chattanooga Shield. Excuse me. 2 Goblin, 2 Sheepy. This is probably the thing that had people confused on the most. And then 1 Darkblade, 1 Mace, 1 Gaddock, 1 Akakuron, and 1 Combined Creation. So that up here. So the thing that confused people the most is, one, I'm only on 1 Darkblade. Some people do a split. They go 2, 2, or um, they go 1 Angewitch, 3 Darkblade to break boards. I think 3-1's correct because if you draw this, it is the fourth Angewitch, which is what you want it to be. And in this deck, you could set up like Ripper and stuff, so they can't even interact with your Angewitch. With like Bell, or if they play Valors, Ash Blossoms, all that good stuff. So if even if they do, most of the time they just get punished because, again, we're on multiple names. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain the Double Sheepy. So Double Sheepy, um, this is here because it is a really good extender at any point in the combo. Um, there's a line with it that is subpar and a little lackluster, but it's not terrible. When we get done, I'm going to go over some lines with you. I'm going to show you the 1 card combos. They're the most important. They're the only ones you really need to know. The other ones, you can piece them together and you can figure them out. They're not hard. Again, I'm going to go over the 1 card combos. I'm going to get you all set up and ways that you should know. Just know with this deck, this is not all you're playing. So you don't even got to worry about resolving half of the stuff. So, yeah. With that being said, most of this stuff all night resolved. Most of it. There were times where you face like Yummy and stuff, and 90% of your cards won't resolve. But you know what will resolve? Canine stuff. So 3 Jokel, 2 Izuna, 1 Lupus, 1 Lantern. So this is your canine package. This should be 3. I didn't have the one come in the mail on time, so unfortunately I'm on double Izuna. I do make up for it as I play another case for canine in this deck. So that's the main portion that comes up for it. So the main thing about this deck is Droll. If they drop Droll, you're basically gonna have to rely on Jokel or Izuna to get you where you're going. If you draw them both, you're chilling because you can just do this, special this, and then you get to the third name. And then you can use any Memento and an Izuna, or any Memento and a Lupus or a Jokel to make whatever you're going for. Yeah, this package was great all day long. I didn't have a single problem. Um, I like I said, I believe that just the amount of pushes that you get with this is very overwhelming. Let's go ahead and get into some of the non-engine. So we're not playing very much. So Ashbua, that's it. It didn't. I'm still not a fan of this card. I get it. Not a fan of it. Because this card is the one card that we can't play through. There's no way we're getting around Fua. And most of the times, if I got Fua, you just put up like a subpar board and you throw up like Ripper, and then on like your opponent's turn you throw up Typhon. Funny enough, that actually works. Because you can just sit on Combined Creation and Diffusion, and a Ripper, and that's basically it. You only give your opponent like I believe at best like 3 draws, and they don't really get to do much. So again, it's fine, but like kind of hurts his deck, all depending. I'll go over some of the games later. I'm just trying to get through the deck profile. 3 Memento Fusion, 3 Memento Bone Party, 1 Memento Migdalin, double Goblin Biker Grand Breakout. So this is like mandatory. 3, 3, 1, and 2. You only need 1 fit spell. If you draw it, it kind of becomes like a dead card most of the time, but it'll still work out. Because if you have to make your Twin Dragon early, you can just get both your little 5s basically automatically. Fine, it works. We'll talk a little about this card. I don't know if this card is like completely necessary, and if this isn't necessary, I'll cut this and I'll cut the Goblin, and it would actually trim my deck down to 40 cards because we were playing 43 by the way. Anyway, add that little neat bit detail. K9 spells, double case, and 1 release restraint. Because I didn't have the Izuna come in, so I had to play case K9, and then I didn't have the right one, so I played this one, and this one actually worked out with what I was doing. So, allow me to explain, because this one can target any K9 Exceed monster or rank 5 Exceed monster and rank it up into a whatever you use into a K9 with a different name from the extra deck. So you can just go straight into Werewolf off of like Vyama, a Chronomaly dude. After you negate something, you can just slam the Werewolf on top, and then just wait on them to do something, and then you can start ripping cards or banishing cards, however way you do it. I did have games where I was doing it on their turn, then I had games I was doing it on my turn, because they'll try to like interact with your follow-up Ripper, and you can just use this, target the Ripper, and it'll completely just null and void the target. You get case, you go get your lantern, and then you basically just get the Werewolf free, where they have to start interacting with you, and then you win because you have the Werewolf. You have the Werewolf, and then you just make another Ripper. So again, kind of nice. The last 4 cards in the deck are all non-engine, and that is 3 Forbidden Droplet and a Callback. I solved this one time. It was okay. I used it on Arclight going second. It was again okay. It was okay. I saw it one time the whole time. I think it's fine because it's again it's really good. And going into that Arclight when it was trying to negate my Bone Party, if I wouldn't have had to call by, I probably would have lost because it was my only play. But he didn't know that. He did not know that. He didn't need to know. So that's the entire main. Sorry, my hand's marked. Again, we've been out of town all day. I was in Charleston at a reptile exhibit, but beyond the point, then the extra deck. So of course, we're gonna play Chicobine and one twin, and then you're also going to play your Draxtapelia and your Rodent Chimera. You make both of these, so you need them both. If you're not playing these cards, you need to be playing these cards because these give Memento Fusion. I don't really know how my fusions are. So these give your Memento Fusion gas going into with your opponent coming at you. Um, After you go first, you're able to reset this, or you're able to add it back off of Akakura, and you're able to use it in your opponent's turn. You want to basically, there's a line where you have combined creation. You'll bring this back. You'll pop itself and the monster, and then the build spell will activate, target him, and will summon back the Angel Witch. And when you go Angel Witch effect, you add whatever. You can then chain the fusion to shuffle the fusion, send the Angel Witch to grave, and send whatever else monster you added off Angel Witch, which most of the time is Sheepy, to grave, and then you could summon this, or let's say you just want to summon Draxapelia, you could just go, I believe it's Angel Witch, right? Yeah, it's Angel Witch. You can shuffle your Angel Witch, or any dark monster, and your fusion dude back in to make the Draxapelia. I was just double checking to make sure Angel Witch was dark. I was almost 100% certain, but I didn't know. Most of the time, I don't even do it that way because most of your Memento dudes are dark. And also, I'll show you something cool. That's a dark. These are dark. So you got a dark here, you got a dark there, you got two darks, and then you got Angel Witch. So realistically, when it comes to resolving your Draxapelia, which comes up against K9 because it turns them to 5s, which means they cannot do what they want to do. Because if they're on a Jokel and you go effect to target, it turns it to a 1 and it makes it where it will not be able to resolve. But as you can see, you got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got 11 darks in the deck. More than likely, you will have one in your grave. So, that is fine. But the main thing is you have to make Draxapelia. We're talking Mementos mostly because you're making it with Memento Fusion. So you got to make sure that you're using Mementos in grave or you're using monsters in the hand because Memento Fusion doesn't really care. It just says, hey, you can shuffle cards back. But I digress. So that's all the fusions. We have 2 links. The only 2 that really matter: Cross Sheep and SP. I made Cross Sheep 4 times. I made SP almost every game. That's something that's just accustomed to me. Like, I wish I throw it up on the inboard, even if I have to use just 2 random monsters that I have, I will make SP. Like, it's just a really good inboard piece to where if my opponents start interacting, I can dodge like their targeting effects if they're trying to destroy something, and I can bring it and this card back on the standby phase, which again, very good. So yeah, play them both. They both come up, and especially if you have an Xyz pointing to this, and then you summon a fusion and it's able to revive one, it basically just gives you a free SP level up. Plus, you will have the little boost from the Xyz monsters. So it's kind of nice. And it's for the end of the turn, so even if you do it going second, it's not terrible. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the Xyz now. We'll put this guy to the back. So for 2 elves, I play 2 K9 Ripper, 2 Chronomaly, and then my other 2 rank 5s are Durandal and Valon. So I think these are the best. There was a slight issue, and I ended up not being able to get one of my cards on time. Which I think this is probably how I'm going to play going forward, because I wanted to play Nash Knight. If I play Nash Knight, I have to drop Durandal or I gotta drop Valon. Realistically, the worst one to play is Valon. It's the worst one. Yes, it is spot removal, But also, um, it's it's also just able to book a monster. You link it off like SP Little Knight, you get a banish out of SP Little Knight, and then it will target on the face down card, whichever card it is, and pop up. So yeah, pretty good there. And that's why these cards are good. This is an Omni for things on field. We have monster effect negation, not once per turn. So if you get two of them on the field, you can resolve them both at the same turn. You can do the same with technically Durandal, but the thing that sucks about these is these are lights. So you got to make sure that you're doing things right and make sure you're playing correctly. That's number one reason why Valon is here, is simply because he's dark. Um, and if that was not the case, I'd be playing Nash Knight in place of it. So. Get all those, and then the last two we play in the extra deck are K9 Werewolf and Typhon. Typhon, I made it after every turn two. Right, every turn, yeah, turn two basically. Yeah. So, like if I'm like in turn two, or there was one time against Jericho, I made it in their turn one, and they just didn't have an out to it because as soon as I go main phase, I have first action priority, and they cannot activate their Palmia effect, and then they have to chain Palmia, and if they do, they summon, and then you get first priority of what goes back. So if they summon, you just shove that thing back, or whatever one you want, practically. If they go, Ars Valor on affecting grip, I don't care about Ars Valor. I had them do that to me all day. It just doesn't matter. Because I've played a lot of Turkitel. As you see, I have it on the channel. It doesn't really do anything. Not to me. I know every line. Two Droll, two Lancia, Double Bell. These are the monsters that we're playing in the sideboard. So these are for Mitsu, the Bell and the Droll specifically, and these are for Crystron and Malice. I didn't play Malice, but I did play Crystron. If you think Malice is out of the format, I just put a video out about it. Malice is like one of the best decks to play right now because it is so under the radar and everybody's dropping Lancia. The deck is really hard to manage, especially if you're able to play around things properly. Bell is a good card against Malice, but like if you resolve it on certain plays, like Malice and Underground, your white binder's free. And most of the time, that's what they'll try to do. They'll try to keep you off of stuff like that, which we play Malice a different way now, so we don't lose to this card. So, spoiler alert. And if y'all have not seen my video on Malice, please go check it out. It'll show you a lot, everything you know about how good this deck is, this format. You need to be sideboarding this. Sorry to burst your bubble, but Crystron is still not dead. It's still going to be around, and you're going to have to be able to manage Malice, because once people start getting on my version of the deck, it'll take a little bit because it's not yet gaining velocity, but the minute it does, it's going to be a pain. Three thrust. I cited these in going first and second every game. And there are specific thrust targets. So the thrust targets going second are Talents, Lightning Storm, evenly matched. And going first, you side in your Talents and your D-Barrier. And if you're going first, because there were 3 going second cards and only 2 going first cards, you side in one of Solemn Judgment. I had drawn this twice the whole tournament, and both times I did. It didn't really matter, but it was slightly impactful, and they didn't really expect it. And I think it was one of the determining factors of why I was able to win games. So I think it's just the element of surprise. They wasn't expecting me to pull out Judgment, so that's probably what it was. So, yeah, this is how I'd play the deck, honestly. So this is basically what a sideboard consists of. And it's just being prepared for every single matchup in every way. Because if you're going against Dracatel, You're not gonna sight in drills. You'll sight these in against Yummy now, and you'll sight these in against. You don't really have to sight these in against Yummy, but you can, because if they go engage for drones and you droll them, that's it. They can't really end on anything. They have to end on literally the Yummy monster, and they have to have another Yummy monster in hand to be able to do something. So keep that in mind. Um, Bells are just really good against Mitsu. This is one of the best decks right now, which is why we have duels in here. Only reason they're in here, because there's not really a whole lot of decks that's going to really give you problems. Going forward, DDD is going to give you a lot of problems, so you're going to have these. And realistically, if you have these for DDD, they're not too bad because they do have cards that will special summon from graveyard, or will add from graveyard to hand, or shuffle from graveyard in the deck. There's not very many of them that do that, but there are some that do it. So I think Bell is a pretty good option for that as well. But even more so, Droll is very effective um, against them. And if you're trying to keep them off of the fusion to be able to throw up DDD Highway King Caesar, you want to Lancia. I don't advise Lancia because if you do Lancia, it makes some of their monsters to where they won't be able to get banished because that's typically how they work. So, yep, that is the entire sideboard and deck. Again, if you all have any questions on my ratios or anything, leave them in the comments down below. Again, this deck isn't done. I just decided I was going to play it for locals. The one I could go to, because now I've got to order all my new GDD cards, which is fantastic. But we'll have new Malice on the channel the minute I top with it, which should be next locals. I'll put up the deck profile for you. As you see, I don't really like to promote deck profiles unless if that I top with them, so, and locally, because right now I really don't have any events around here, which sucks, but it is what it is. So I think now is a better time than ever. I can show you how exactly you can play the deck now. So if you don't know the lines for this specific version, I will show it to you. So I'm going to move my phone up here, and I'm going to move the mic up here. Again, I hope this doesn't bother anything. And I'm just going to leave them both face up, just so I'm able to show you how this works. Normal effect. I'm going to give you 3 good combo lines. Tetanus Shigo, Summon, and go effect, destroy itself. Most of the time in these combos, your Magnetic. Oh, no, baby. There you are. Your Angel Witch is useless most of the time. So summon, effect add, effect summon, effect use. All 3. Let me put my graveyard. I'll put my deck up here and I'll put my graveyard down here. And then I can put my banished cards here. I'm just going ahead and showing you where I'm putting the cards. For effect, send the combined, send them to the fusion, and you're going to send Aki Huron. There you go. Now you can see what we're doing. Then we'll go effect to get the field spell. You need to get the field spell before you proceed any further, or your plays will be a little lackluster. Unfortunately, I still have a rare. I have an ultra on the way, but we'll see whenever I get it. So then from there, you can activate fusion. You'll destroy this. We'll go and get you another copy of fusion. And then you go effective Huron special. You don't have to get fusion here. This is like prefer, whatever you prefer. For me, you could do this, but also you could do Bone Party. And you could Bone Party for the mace, and then you can go from there. Do it that way. But basically, what's going to end up happening is you're going to make twin. As soon as you make twin, it's going to pop, and it's going to summon. Twin's going to summon back, and make the one's going to summon back, and you're going to summon 2 5s. When you summon 2 5s, you bridge into your cannot stop. So I'll show you when you add your bone party, because generically, and this is basically how you should be doing it, but again, it just depends on the pilot. So activate, you have a store, and then you're supposed to summon mace. You could do Gaddick, but I don't see a point to do it. I don't. It's just missing step. So go effect, add you back here on the diffusion. Goes great. And here you effect to destroy itself. To add any memento card from deck to hand. So you can add the sheepy. And then you can go ahead and resolve. Just off from back sheepy and the Gaddick. And on the deck, it doesn't matter. Then summon your Twin Dragon. And then go and resolve. He'll destroy himself. And you'll add 2 from deck to hand. 2 you want to add are exactly a level 5 and Dark Blade. You want Dark Blade because if you can end on something as simple as this, you can summon it on your opponent's turn, use the effect on the follow-up that you add, and you'll be able to pop Spell Trap. That's why it's really good on your opponent's turn. So from here, again, you go Twin 1, you go Field Spell 2. No ball target Twin. So Twin is a 7. So you can special level 7 or lower. So guess what? Here, 1. And from here, 2. I added the wrong card. It took me just now to realize it. You add combined creation. I'm stupid. This is literally the only card I need. Sorry. Now things are much more correct. So, oh, shoot. Yeah. So now we're here. Yeah. For Ripper. Perfect. You will detach Akihiro. This is kind of important because you need as many mementos with different names to be able to shuffle back to summon your combined creation. And that's where this matters. So typically you could go Case, or you can go Azuna, or you can go Lupus, however you want to do it. I go for Case, and then I go for Jokel. There are some people that I know that they're on Droll, especially against this deck, and sometimes I just make Ripper just to have that body, and then I'll just do a simple line. I'll go Combined Creation, and I will just set like my Memento Fusion, or I'll set Bone Party to be able to do the evenly play, be able to out it. Most of the time you don't have to worry about it because you can get Izuna. But again, it just all depends. Typically I go for Jokel because if I go Jokel, I can basically get to it. It is not hard. Because let's say they would at some point in the combo drill me, but I'm able to get the 2 5s. I can go Jokel, summon, and then I can just make whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as it's not a light monster, I can make it. So I can make Sky Blaster, or I can make another Azuna. Or Ripper, I'm sorry. Which, perfectly fine. If you put it on top of like a Combined Creation and Fusion, Bone Party, or both, it's fine. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, again, you summon them both and you go effect. Okay, now I'm just showing you all the 1-card combos, that way you all got them down. Go Azuna. Okay, opponent does play on their turn. We have the bases covered. Yeah, the right card. I'm trying to think. This is normal line I do. Well, like, you don't have to do this. This could be Jokel. If it's Jokel, it's technically better. So that's what I'm gonna teach. I'm just gonna teach that we do Jokel. I do Case of Canine because I want to make sure I have the attack and um, but again, just the attack buff. So what the Jokel summon, and then you go Jokel effect at this. Um, and we'll go these two to the power on. That one's pretty good. You can put an attack or defense. It doesn't matter. It might matter to a lightning storm, but typically I got way out lightning storm, so I'm not really the most worried about lightning storm. And if your opponent activates a monster effect, this all depends on if your opponent is activating monster effects, then you can do certain things. Either way, it wouldn't really matter because you have the Azuna for follow up. You're able to make Ripper Avalon's two interactions that's already hard enough. So we're just gonna pretend like they're not activating monster effects, which they should. This is 2025. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's how you do it. And then you summon this guy. Some say, well, you need this. You don't really need it. You could leave this, depending on what you're trying to do, or you can leave your anchors. For the sake of me showing you all kind of some of the combos you can do in this deck, I will leave the anchors for this one. And again, like I said, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. But I'll show you the line. So, shuffle it, both fusions, and then next. It literally does not matter. I will show you why. There you go. You summon your combined creation, and you can basically just pass. If your opponent goes nib, you do this. If they go impermanent, whatever. Because you don't really have a way around it. But if they drop the nib, guess what? It wouldn't really matter. This is just, again, one of the lines. If your opponent would activate a monster effect, hand or grave. Yummy doesn't play into this all that much. They will if they start hand trapping you, because then you just activate Azuna, summon, and do everything. But the main line is you will go combine creation almost near first action. Again, you would have one of these sets. I'm just going to go ahead and set this to the burn party. Because you get it on the end phase off of this. It's not really relevant to this. Summon. You go effect here. You go, okay. That's fine. And you're gonna just go for Sheepy. So we've got Sheepy. Then you can go Sheepy effect, summon, and you go effect. You go, okay. Yes. So, whoa, wrong one. Twin. You go twin. You can destroy itself. All depending on what you want to do. I would destroy the twin. And then you'll go and you'll add. Again, it just depends on how you want to go into the board. Most likely I go Dark Blade and then I go for Mace. Where's my Mace? She's right in my hand when I'm not seeing her. Oh, there she is. So you go these two. Makes sense. It doesn't really have to make sense. And then you just get a free special of any monster off the field spell. So you just go twin one, and then you go this two. And your second one, depending if you're playing Yummy and they activate the field spell, summon. And then you can go, okay, from here I want to summon Sheepy. Then you can resolve the Dark Blade, discarding. I'm gonna go, okay, I'm an imperm. You go, okay, I'm a chain. And I'm gonna destroy. And you can spell some name, come back. You can tell this. It'll pop the card. You go drag effect. You add this back. Then if, let's say they start running through the board a little bit. And they go, okay. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go to this. So let's say they go like a typo or whatever. Just try and mesh. Tag it. Because you got the combined creation. And I go, okay, well, I've got this one. I will proceed to end phase. On your end phase, summon effect. Summon. Exit, sorry. Here, no. Thanks for playing. And like I said, you just do all that. It's all legal actions. I mean, what are you gonna do? Can't activate something on my turn. Go ahead. I'll play the whole game. I'm gonna play the whole game anyway. Because from here I can kill. If I cannot kill, and I got two things in my way, I will draw whatever cards for turn. Doesn't matter. This doesn't matter where it is. I'll show you why. Look, Memento fusion. Woo. Sure. Fusion. You got effect field spell target combined creation, and you can summon enemies back. So you can summon your angel back. You go, okay. And you go grab, where's it at? Tananuchigo. Pretty good. Pretty good. What's even better is you can go this guy. Let's say you chain veil on the book, something. Doesn't really matter. And then you can go effect Ripper. You shouldn't have an effect. You shouldn't have Ripper here, but I'm just saying. You can go for Juggle. And then from here, you kind of see what you can do. You can just do everything, and it doesn't even matter. You're gonna be able to run through them, and then you have enough names in your graveyard from the follow-up turn to be able to make your combined creation again. So it literally does not matter. You can make literally gone everything. It just depends. So like, there's some lines where you destroy the Joker and you summon back like a Memento name because this doesn't care if this is a canine or if it's a Memento. It just cares that if your monster is destroyed and it has a level to verify. So you could literally destroy this, and then you could summon your Dark Blade. Summon Dark Blade, and you can go effect the Dark Blade to destroy itself, which will get to a Goblin. Sorry, Goblin effect destroy itself to be able to get to, let's say, like Aki Kuron and your fusion, whatever Henry, it doesn't matter. You could go effect to destroy. Did I already do that? Yeah, on special summoning this, and then effect destroy itself. Send it to, and then you can oh, I'm trying to think. Why am I? Yeah, this effect, summon, effect, blow itself up. And you can add any memento card, doesn't really matter what it is. So let's add Bone Party. Huron will activate. It's supposed to summon itself. And you can chain, pop the horse. summon, or don't do that. I mean, you can, it doesn't really matter. Destroy from deck, summon Sheepy. And you don't even have to resolve the Sheepy, you could just, because you have this, just turn it. Send this, shuffle, to the deck, put your dude next to Monster Zone, and you go his effect. You'll send like whatever names, like Gaddock, or yeah, Gaddock. I don't know, I'm blanking a lot today. Yeah, and you can do Ange Witch, and then you can resolve Gaddock, summon himself, add back any name, deck to, or from grave to hand. You can literally do any of them. I could do horse. I'm telling you, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not beating this because you just keep extending. You can see where I'm going with this. There is a line. Memento does a lot for some people to be like, oh, you put up very little, but it doesn't matter. There are very minute interactions, and if you do not understand those minute interactions and where they are, you will lose to this deck. This deck seems very lackluster, but it is not, because it can bridge into different parts, and once it gets those combos flowing in the right direction, there's no stop. Now you would say, well, in this deck, compared to more, you could interact with Ripper a lot more. No, that is on a one-card combo. If I'm not on a one-card combo and I open, say like Ange Witch, Horse, Sheepy, or Bone Party with any of those, or even if I open the Goblin spell, or I open Izuna. If I open Izuna and you're going after my Memento stuff, you're getting cooked, which it happened a lot. If I open Jokel, same thing. Some games, if I open these two, I will lead with these. I'll just go, okay. Or some games, I will lead with either Anguish or Darkblade, beat an Imperm, change Jokel, reveal, summon, bang bang. There you go. That's too much because I'm able to play Memento and I'm able to play Canine because you've already interacted. Sometimes I could just do it going first and second because I can just run through everything you're doing. So that's also another possibility too. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get you into the Dark Blade combo. And I will do this one a lot faster than I did the first one. Again, I'm trying to get you all three. I do have to work in the morning, so I'm trying to hurry this up. So excuse me if I'm going fast. You can rewind the video. You can do whatever. So let me get you Dark Blade. So this is the one card Dark Blade combo. This does not end on exactly everything you want, but it does do something to an extent. Destroy, summon your Ange Witch, add your Titan of Shigo, you summon, and you would practically do the exact same line that you did the first time. Send these two, effects, summons, adds, and then you go effect, summon, and you do it again. Again, it's very, very similar line. I'm just going to show you that it is very similar, and it basically ends on the exact same thing. These, I'm going to go effect, get the field spell. Player said field spell. Resolve fusion, so y'all can't see those. I forget. This is my graveyard. And then you will destroy this. And you will go and search for Bone Party. And you will go effect of Akakiron to special summon. You will chain, destroy, and you can summon whatever you want. I summon Gaddock here. And then this goes to grave. And then your dude is going to activate. So you're like, hey, I'm going to add back your Memento fusion. Cool. And then you can go ahead. You can wait on the fusion, or you can do it here. It doesn't really matter. I typically wait and I go effect to proc itself. To send. Make sure I get my total check. Yeah, cool. Cool. So these two. Yeah. Then these two, which is Mace and Combined Creation. Just like I said, the line's a little bit different, but it's just what it is. And then you can resolve, do this, get that, and the Sheepy back into the deck. You can summon your twin, go to twin, destroy itself, search out, and there's a level 5, and you can search out just about anything. Doesn't really matter, I don't believe. No, it doesn't. So we're just gonna search out Sheepy. And then you go 1, 2. There it is. And you're gonna go okay, summon. And we're both gonna target this. There we go. And again, we're able to bridge the cannon and stuff. And again, we're just gonna go for the Jokel. So again, it's just a lot better of a line. Reveal some zone. Effect. That's place. Thanks. That's how that card works. Red dry Zuna, so we did the first time. And then you have that as a hand trap, and you can go these two back into your dude, or you can go to a cross shape. It doesn't really matter. I would do it this way because you're not really doing anything with the fusions, so I like doing it this way. If I had a fusion yet on board, which you have to have more cards to be able to keep the fusions on board, then you could go cross shape on that route. You don't have to do it that way. Then let me get back on track. Migration. So do 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I was able to keep both this time because I did the line more correct. That's what happens when I don't try to do like the fancy routes. This just works. This is basically how I played it the whole day. I could just work off that combo, and there's another combo that's older. I used to be able to do it too. Well, not that I used to be able to. I used to do it all the time. So then, from here, because I didn't resolve this, you would have one of these back. Actually, no, I did resolve it right. I added this back. I remember. So then you go interface, set on fire. That's it. Because with this hand, you have Azuna, which will check just about everything. You also have Ripper to check stuff. And anytime you have Ripper and it's like fully resolved, non-negated, none of that stuff, you just go for, you just plan down your combined creation because they're not gonna be able to do anything. And like, let's say like they were to nib this board. If they do, you extend with your Izuna and she will actually keep you alive. Which does sound crazy, but she will. Your Izuna will keep you alive and you'll be able to just keep, going on about your day like normal. And realistically, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, you can just keep doing it that way. It does kind of suck, but then like, depending on your in phase, you would go for different cards, basically. So instead of going for Sheepy here, I'd probably go for Memento Fusion. Or just not Sheepy, but Bone Party. But you could honestly do Bone Party because you have the Sheepy in hand, if you know what I mean. So, and that's fine on its own because you can go to like Dark Blade and you can do the whole loop like I did the first time. But it's again, it's a lot harder to do it that way. And also, like I said, if they nib, you won't have this on your board. You will not have this. Especially if they have a way to deal with this. But it's like the chance you take. How many times did it happen in the whole tournament? Once. Happened once where they added this. But do you have this specific follow up for a reason? And if that don't work, you can do this. You just need them to do something. Something stupid. And you can deal with them. Because if you do this, and they destroy a monster on your field, guess what? Card is kind of crazy, because if you read the card, it says if a monster in your possession was destroyed by a card effect this turn, you can shuffle Memento monsters in from the graveyard. So you can do it from grave. Like I said, that would depend on what's in your hand, what's on field, what is your best play going forward. Let's say they nib and like they take this off the board, which is really the only card you need to know. So you know we have this. And we have the Zuna, we have Sheepy, and then I have Fusion. Okay, just like a what if. This doesn't do nearly enough. If that makes sense. Because this guy's still in gray. Now you could argue that you could do this because you will end up on some really good plays, as in you would be able to do this the minute the Izuna got popped, because they're probably gonna ogre it or something on your turn, and then you're gonna have to go reline and be able to use your fusion to actually be able to make something worthwhile like the drag step up, because that's really gonna be what you're going for. Like I said, there are certain lines that you can do. You could do this, make the fusion, pop the fusion, add, follow-up card, and then you can add the Dark Blade, and just depending on what it is, typically you're gonna want you add the Gaddick on that case, because I'll kind of explain to you how it works, but it's kind of wild. I'll run you through it. So let's say I do this and I try to resolve this and they ogre it. They ogre it or they pop it, and I can still get the Lupus sent to the graveyard. So this play is actually like wild. So you can go Memento Fusion, and depending on what they're on, we're going to assume they have a 3,000 attack point monster that is like very valuable. And then they go, okay, we can shuffle this guy and this guy back. We can summon this one. We go effect, chain 2. Summon. It destroys itself. We will add. What to do. I had it in my head now. Now I've completely lost it. And then it is. No. Yeah. Yeah, those. So Uno dos. Yeah, these two. Then you go effect on res. Typhon. And you can go effect of your Sheepy. Summon itself. And just use all 3 of these off. So you can activate the effect of the Typhon. What you can do is you can activate the effect of Gaddick, summon itself, because you use the monster effect, and you'll be able to target one and add it back to hand. So you can target any of these back and add them back to hand. That's one line you can do. It's okay. It's not like amazing or anything. But like, you don't really have to do this line, because if you notice you didn't use the field spell, you don't have to summon this. If you do, you want to summon it up here on your opponent's turn, and then this will trigger, summon this from hand. You'll go effect, and you'll be able to add, whatever follow-up card you're looking for, essentially. So, in this case, there's not really anything you need to be adding. Not anything worthwhile. So like I would probably just add, like either a Dark Blade, or I would add Tadanobu Shigo. So, again, this is one of the lines you can go, and you also get a pop out of this. And if you do it on your first turn, you go effect, comes back, and they can add like your sheep, and it gives you full combo. So you can say how you shuffle this back with a combined creation, by doing a little bit of things, because you have to follow up. So yeah, that's number 2. Now let me get into the final one. Like I told you, I'm going to run through these combos, and they do take a while. So what thing I was asked most when I was at the tournament was, how do you play if you open just canine stuff? And I will show you. The only thing you really need to know is you're gonna open Joko Ripper. Not Ripper, Azuna. So these are the main 2 cards you need to know going into your combos, because everything else is just one-dimensional. This is the one combo that you need to know how to do, which is Joko on any level 5. It does not have to be this. It could be Lantern. You just need to know how to do it, essentially. So go effect, reveal, summon, back to send, Lupus in the grave, then resolve this and go grab Lantern. Here, go effect, summon himself, this 2. Do it this way. Ripper. Ripper effect. Detach the Azuna, and you will go add your case for canine. So you got case for canine, and because you did, there you go. You get your quick play. Then you can case for canine. You can add any of them. The card you need to be adding is Azuna. So you need the backup Azuna on standby. You go effective Lantern, summon. Now you have 3 monsters. So what do you do with 3 monsters? It's fine the way it is, honestly. You want me to be honest. You don't need to do a whole lot, because you have this. That makes sense. So we'll go these 2. And you will go, yeah. These 2 into a Valent. For an activate monster effect, you can then specialist from hand. I wouldn't do it. You can end on a board like this. That's fun. Because if you have to do the Ripper here, because like someone will try to nab, and you can like negate the nab, whatever. From here you're actually fine, because then therefore you can do more on your opponent's turn. And the Ripper here just gets traded out. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. So it's just a the what if there. If they try to nab, you can do that. And believe what people think. Valent only works on your opponent's monsters, as it says. So just don't try to do that. But yeah. So yeah, you get into a spot like this, and this is fun. So this is what you put up if your opponent, well, not really your opponent, if you don't draw any Memento cards, which is really hard to do, but there are times where this happens. Where you just get stuck on the canine engine, and you gotta find a way out. And then you can just do this. And, someone throwing yummy, you wanna try to book the first thing. If they have an interaction for it, like School of Ingredients, or, something major, like like you gotta do this, and they like try to ogre this. You have two interactions you can do. All depends. For me, I'd rip it automatically because I want my lupus. The minute my lupus is free, this is coming out of hand and this is coming out of grave. Let me be absolutely clear. And they will both summon, and I will not activate this effect because it is not important. But what is important is what you go into off of this. Which, if you're playing that deck, the only card you should be worried about is Durandal. Because you'll use these two, and you will make a attack position and Durandal. So your Durandal will be able to out the evenly matched if they have it. If they have evenly matched, you're just gonna leave Durandal. Like, you don't worry about anything else. Because the minute you get your negate out of this, you just rank it up into the werewolf and then you just rip. But you need them to add a card. If they add a card and you're able to look at their hand and see what they got, you can just rip away the resources. So they typically add off of the synchro Cupsy Cookie, and you rip Cupsy. Absolutely. If they do the synchro and they have those and they're on like an engage, or let's say they're on like the obedience school. They summon a bunch. You booked one, which the one you should be booking is Cupsy. They will then try to find a way to get to another one. Or if they have a quick play spell, they will try to get rid of the one that's on board to be able to get to another. But you should be able to disrupt it. So. That's all. And it all just, again, works in pairs and parallels. If you open this with any of the K9 names, it is just as good as opening the Range Witch. I can't really explain it in this video. Again, I'm like out of time. But again, I can do a more in-depth spreadsheet on it if you all want. And I can add more lines to it, show you more combos, show you what a 5-card hand should look like, what the inboard should look like, rather than just a few cards. And teaching you all how the interactions work, what works against it, what is bad against it, what is great against it. Realistically, as long as I don't open this, the charmers are great. Because if I open this and I'm able to throw up combined creation and on like a mediocre board, you're not really going to win the game. So all I have to do is give you 3 draws and I can beat you because I can put up more interactions than what you do. So yeah, that's really the only thing that matters. Yes, I do keep it. I do factor in the draw per turn. I factor it in every time. As long as I can factor in more interactions than you have draws and the draw per turn, I'll beat you every time. Yeah, that's really the only things I have to show you. Again, I'm out of time. So if you all want more in-depth on this deck, let me know, and I will do a full in-depth spreadsheet. I could probably do one tomorrow. I don't know. I'm a little tight on time tomorrow, but I could probably do one. And I will be doing a full spreadsheet on Malice. I'll put my deck profile on there. Again, it's the same one that's online. It's exactly the same. Minus, I think I'm on like Solemn Strike rather than Iron Thunder, so it's practically the same thing. But again, if you all want me to do it, I can do it. I do think Malice is like the best deck to play right now. So, either that or Mitsu. I think Mitsu is going to get hit. On the next ban list. I think they were just trying to see what the OCG play with it a little bit. But I do think they should have checked it other than imps. But again, that's all the time I have for today. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. And Pierce Nation, we'll see you in the next one. Pierce Nation out.